Hello everyone, welcome to Easy Learn. As we were discussing forward bias diode, now I am going to explain today reverse bias condition of the diode. I'm going to explain what is the purpose of the basically diode. You know better that it is purpose is to conduct the electricity in only one direction. It conduct the current in only one direction. In the other direction, if we, for example, opposite the terminals, opposite the bias voltage polarity, if we change the polarity of the diode terminals, then it will not conduct the current. It only works in one direction only. So we already discussed the forward bias condition. I'm going to recap of the last episode. Uh, it conducts the electricity only when the positive terminal is connected to the p type and negative is connected to the n type. That condition is called the forward bias, as we already discussed in the previous episode. The second condition remaining is called the reverse bias. Reverse bias. Today we are going to discuss the condition in which the current will not flow through the diode. If we connect with like this type of polarity, the diode does not works or allow the current to pass through it. For example, this is a p-n junction. This is a for example, this is a p-n junction, and here, for example, this is a resistance. This is a resistance, and this is a biasing voltage external, and for example, this is p type, this is p, and this is p region, this is p region, and this is n region, and this is the highlighted is the depletion region. Here I will indicate depletion. This is the depletion region. The external bias voltage is called V bias. This is V bias, and this P is connected to the negative and positive is connected with the N region, opposite to the last case. Just as discussed in the forward bias, the V bias is same. Battery is same, but its polarity is changed. Here negative side is connected with the P region and positive is connected with the N region. Note that one thing here, that depletion region is very widely shown. For example, this is the normal case. I draw the normal case. The normal in when no polarities, no bias voltage is applied to its terminals. The normal case is like that. In the normal case, its depletion region is just like that. If in the previous case, the forward bias case, this is P region and this is N region, just like that. This is, as you will see in the its polarity, no polarities are applied, no biasing voltage is applied on its terminals. In here, in terminals, is positive is connected with the P side and negative is connected to the N side. This is P and this is N. In the forward bias case, its depletion region is much narrow, like that. Just this is the depletion region. The normal case 0.7 volts, and in this case it's 0.7, but the size of the depletion region is reduced and it's like thin, and here in this case it widens. The depletion region is widely wides and take more space. For the complete understanding how it's working, this is I just show. This is basically, this is resistance, just like the previous case, and it is used for limiting the voltage level to a limit that will not damage the basically p-n junction. This is that limits the voltage, so it's called the R limit, because it is used for limiting the voltage level to a certain limit that will not damage. That diode is capable of bearing that limit. Okay, for the complete understanding of what happens in the reverse bias, I am going to draw the fundamental diagram, just like the previous case. Fundamental. Before going to draw the fundamental diagram, I am going to tell you that I am going to pause this video here to save the time, because fundamental diagram takes a little bit time to draw. So I'm going to pause this video to save time. So the fundamental picture is almost ready. I had drawn, this is the charges. I had drawn it very big to show basically to explain it well, because this is the main thing. I want to basically try to understand this thing. If you understand this thing, this is very important, and this is the main thing. If you understand it, then you understand everything. So coming towards the main point, what happens? I had drawn, this is the N region. I showed here N region, and this region is here P region, and it is shown here, and this is the depletion region. Depletion region is basically a charge that is basically fixed in a position and doesn't allow to the crossing of the charge. This is the depletion region. Barrier potential is developed here, as you can see, the fixed charges, and it doesn't want allow the charge to pass through them. And this is the polarity is in the N region. P is applied here, positive is applied here, and negative charge is applied to the P region, same like the above case. So what happens? Basically the unlike charges attract each other, you know better. This is the positive, and this is, in this case, N region, this is the negative. Positive side of the V bias voltage source pulls the free electrons. They basically, what happens? Pulls the free electrons, pulls you can see that the electrons are moving toward this side due to the positive potential. This is the positive potential, and it is pulling the free electrons. They carry negative charge. Positive attracts the negative charge toward itself, which are majority. In the majority, there are free electrons are available in the N region. So the majority of the, when as soon as I applied the voltage bias voltage here, the positive side to the N region, all the negative charge move towards the positive terminal. Here is a positive, and it attracts the all the majority of the electron, because there is a majority of the negative charge is available. So all the majority of the electron, these shows the direction. As you know, the movement is all, I show the movement of all the charge towards this side. All the charges are moving toward this positive terminal. Majority carriers in the N region are moving toward the P region, away from the P-N junction. This is the P-N junction, and they are moving away from the P-N junction towards the positive terminal. As the electron flows towards the positive side of the voltage source, additional positive ions are created, because there are, for example, let's say this is the first layer of the positive charges are there already. When I applied the biasing voltage, when as soon as I connected the terminals with the voltage external source, V bias is connected, the additional, this layer is created, this layer will be created very quickly as soon as I applied, because there is before that there are the charges are randomly available, negative all aware, but when all the charge goes towards the one side and removing, and already the loss of the free electrons through the N region are already removing, they are losing the free electron charge. The positivity is available, the positive charge, positive ions are created toward this side, because the deficiency of the negative charge is seen. So when the more and more electrons are moving toward this side, definitely positive ions are created more and more on this side, and the layer, another layer, and another layer is created, another layer. So the depletion region, basically in the N region, due to the increase of this positivity increases and increases. This results in due to the additional positive ions created, and they are on the depletion region. This results in the widening of the depletion region and a depletion of the majority carriers. Due to the loss of the electrons, the majority carriers are reducing one by one. Now coming toward the P region, what happens in the P region? In the P region, electrons from the negative electron from the negative terminal, this is the negative terminal connected from the battery, the V bias, Negative, from the negative terminal, electrons are entering as the valence electron and move from hole to hole toward the depletion region. They are entering, there is a high potential, and from high potential there is a very huge pressure from this side toward the their negative electron. Lot of the negative electrons are trying to enter because there is a high potential. We had connected from the battery high voltage, for example 10 volts. This is a potential, and they are trying to enter the negative charges. So they in this region there are lots of the holes are available, as holes are in majority charge carrier in the p region. So basically what are holes? Hole is basically nothing. Hole is a vacancy, as we had discussed in the introduction to the electronics episode. Hole is basically a nothing, not a positive charge. Please note that hole is basically a vacancy, and anyone can feel the negative charge basically can fill this vacancy. Lag in this hole there is a vacancy available. For example, I'm going to give you an easy example. For example, let's say this is a hall. For example, this is a hall, and here is a stage. This is a stage, and the people are coming entering into the hall from this door. These are the everywhere chairs are available. Anyone and one person enter, one by one persons are entering here and take one chair and fix it here and sit here in the front and watching what happens in the stage. Watch and fixing their positions, entering here and creates a layer. So what happens basically, I'm now going to explain the real story behind the scene. Basically the electron from the negative side of the voltage source enters as the valence electron and move from hole to hole. For example, this electron comes here and fix in this position. This hole is now over, and as this hole is now filled with this negative charge, and now it is a negative charge. This hole is, for example, this is now filled. In the next second this is filled, and it comes toward here because a lot of the pressure is already available, negative and negative. So it moved toward the other side because more negative charge is here. Like charges repel, and this negative repels it, and it will fix here. The next negative come here, it fill the vacancy, it take the vacancy from here, and it will become the negative charge, and it fix it here, and the another layer is created here. From hole to hole toward the depletion region they move, where they create an additional negative ions. They create an additional layer of the negative ions. The negative ion layer is created as I showed with the highlighter. This results in the widening of the depletion region. As a result, what happens at the first, this is the depletion region. Now after some time this is, and as a result the depletion region is increasing. As you watch, that depletion region is basically increasing. And in this case you will notice one more thing, that there is also the deficiency of the holes is is creating, or the depletion of the majority charges carrier is seen. The flow of the valence electron can be viewed as holes being pulled toward the positive side. This is seen just like that. For example, this electron move here, and the previous this is nothing. This electron is, when this hole is filled with the electron, this hole move here. The hole which is already in majority, the previous hole which here is empty space available, this hole comes toward here. When this hole is filled and this come toward here, the previous hole come here. Previous holes are moving toward here, and after filling they are gone and fix here. So what we are watching here, the phenomena, this just seems like that the holes are being pulled toward the positive side, just like that. As the holes are basically seen like that, the hole are moving toward holes are pulled toward the other side. Sorry, the negative side. I said the positive side, positive the other side, means to say from negative to this side positive. Holes are moving toward the left side. The initial flow of the charges that I had discussed is called the transitional flow of the charges. This is called the transitional flow of the charges, and it lasts for for only a very short time after the reverse bias voltage is applied. After the reverse bias voltage applied, this will end very quickly. As the depletion region widens, the availability of the majority carrier decreases. As more of the N and P region become depleted of the majority carrier, the electric field between the positive and negative ions electric field is developed between the positive and negative ions increases in strength until the potential across the depletion region equals the bias voltage. There is a bias voltage, this is the bias voltage, for example, and V bias is, for example, 10 volts, as I already mentioned here. For example, this 10 volts equals the electric field between this depletion region. The depletion region is the depletion region equals potential across the depletion region. The potential, the positive and negative ions create electric potential difference, and their electric potential difference equals the 10 volt. When this 10 volt and 10 volts become equal, then the flow of the further charge stopped. So what happens until is here, the negative ions strength is the negative ion increases in strength until the potential across the depletion region equals the bias voltage, V bias. At this point, the transitional current essentially causes, except for a very small reverse current happens. But the very small reverse current, I will show the very small reverse current. In this video, I totally focused on the majority carriers in the N region and P region. I had not discussed the minority carrier. This is the transitional current I had discussed in this video, and this is totally because of the majority carriers. Focus. Now the majority chargers will be ended in just few seconds. In 1 second or a milli part of the second, this charge, a negative charge and the holes, majority carriers will be over, and very quickly. Then what happened? There is a small reverse current, leakage current and a reverse current. I will discuss in the next video. That is because of the minority carriers. Minority carrier will take part in the reverse current or leakage current of the diode in the reverse bias, because the majority charge are already over, so they are not taking part in any type of the reverse current. So if you have any suggestions or any type of difficulties, kindly post your comments, or I will share the other pictures of the diodes and other things and other useful information regarding this topic on my Facebook page. Kindly visit the Facebook page, will be in description. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.